Welcome. Today we want to talk about when is the right time to make a career pivot. But we thought we'd start
Yeah.
with when it's the wrong time because so many people we work with are
Yes.
thinking that a career pivot is the solution to the
An
problem.
underlying problem.
Yeah, which
and
it isn't
and there are
often.
common themes with the underlying problem. So we thought we would call those things out first, just so you can kind of check in with yourself.
Exactly.
So the first one is your work environment is toxic. Let's
Right.
talk about that.
So a career pivot, and let's explain that, means you are changing careers, not places of employment.
Right.
So if you're working in a toxic work environment, it would make sense to maybe find another
Right.
position in another organization, but not necessarily to make a pivot. So it's really important to isolate if it's the work that's the problem
Or the environment.
or the environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is you have a terrible boss. This kind of goes along
Very
with
related.
that toxic, right?
Yeah.
Work environment.
So
Yeah.
you can't make a decision because making a career pivot is a very ambitious step. You don't want to do it just because you're having a bad relationship with someone at
Yes.
work. That's definitely not cause for reinventing yourself in a new career.
Yes, because you may truly love the work. It just might be.
You just may not even know it anymore because it's very hard to
'Cause that's
extricate
been
yourself
taxing.
from that. Exactly.
Yeah. You're being underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is an important conversation to have because oftentimes we think that we have to just pivot out of this particular career because it's not making enough money.
Right.
But sometimes it's because
It could be
asking for more.
you're not asking for enough money. Your company just doesn't have a good pay history. You're being underpaid because you're undervalued. There are a lot of things that can be at play at there. But again, pay is not reason alone to make a career pivot unless you have chosen a career where you know
Right.
unilaterally,
Hit the ceiling.
right, that the salaries are lower and you're in a position now where you need to make or want to make more money.
Yeah. All right. You're being overlooked for promotions. So
That's a tough one. And very often people will say, you know what, I'm quitting this career altogether because I'm
not good at
obviously I'm
it.
not good at it. Nobody
You start
respects me. So you can watch other videos that we have here on our channel about negotiating, about talking to your boss, about handling objections or having difficult conversations. But if you're being overlooked for promotions, this is not an opportunity necessarily or likely to make a career pivot. It's an opportunity to have a conversation
Yeah.
with your manager to understand why.
Right.
And be prepared to get that feedback and act on it.
Right. You're burned out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we hear this all the time.
Yeah.
And burnout actually is in your control in this way. How good is your self-care?
Yeah.
What are you doing to create sustainability for work that can be challenging? I mean, all work is challenging,
Yeah.
even if you love the work you are doing. There is a tax to your body that happens. And so checking in with, am I taking really good care of myself? You know, is my self-care in a place that is allowing me sustainability in my work? We have another video on that too.
For sure, probably a couple. Another piece of that, and it kind of aligns with self-care, is are you advocating for yourself?
Right.
So are you burned out because several people on your team are out on
Setting
leave or
boundaries.
something? Yeah. And you're taking on the work of others. Are you burned out because the organization is understaffed overall? Are you burned out because, so like really understanding, am I asking the right questions? And then as Kelley said, am I taking care of myself?
Oh, I
We
think
just
there's one
explained-
more.
Oh,
One more is you're just bored, right?
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So boredom can be a good reason
Yes.
for making a pivot.
Yeah.
But boredom should not be the only reason, because it could just be that you are not being given the good accounts.
Yes.
Or the better team. Maybe it's because you are ready to advance, but you haven't made that known, or maybe you haven't put your hat in the ring. So being bored day to day is not a reason
Right.
to make that career pivot, because again, making a career pivot is a very ambitious step.
Yes. So let's dive into when it is the right time to make a career pivot. So
Yeah.
coming off of the heels
Yeah.
of what you just said, maybe you do want to seek a new challenge. Maybe you are ready to rise to
Right.
the occasion of.
And that's different than
change.
boredom.
Yeah.
Boredom is like the tedium of the tasks, and there's going to be tedium no matter what you do. But seeking more challenge, seeking a different challenge is it just a different mindset. We see it often,
Yep.
and many of our viewers fall into this category where you're a caregiver.
Right.
And you kind of stay in the comfortable career because you know it.
Yeah.
And you've known for perhaps a while that you want to change into something different. And this is now the opportunity. Now you're at the position where, you know what, not only do I want more challenge, but I'm at a point in my life where I can take on more challenge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good reason to make a career pivot.
Well, and this goes along with that. And it's that your priorities and goals. So maybe you were kind of biding your time as your kids were younger and you are empty nesting and there's more time. Your world has opened up in a way that hasn't been open
Absolutely
for a long time.
And your goals may have shifted to now I don't really need to make as much money. So I might want to become an entrepreneur now. That wouldn't have made sense when my kids were in high school and going to college and we needed to fund that. But now I'm in a position where I've always wanted to open a bakery.
Yes.
Now I can. That's the right time to make a career pivot. So really looking at lifestyle, life circumstances, and then that feeling, that kind of fire within.
Yeah. And sometimes too, it's just about the fact that you want to make an impact and do more meaningful.
We see that a ton.
Work. Yeah.
So when you're in the throes of raising a family or caregiving in any form, and you need substantial finances, you may not be in a position where you can go do that thing that makes you feel good. You might be a lawyer. You might be a lawyer working in a firm where you do very well financially and you've built a lifestyle that requires that, or you have dependents who require that. But now that you are in a different phase of your life, you might say, I really want to go work in legal aid. I want to help people with immigration. I want to help people in eviction court. Those kinds of things that really fill you up. You may decide if you were a marketing person doing PR on big scale for a big corporation, I want to go help that small nonprofit build their donor base. So those three reasons, of looking for more challenge, maybe shifting goals, and also the idea of maybe chasing that fulfillment for something more mission-based.
Yes.
Those are three good reasons to make a pivot.
Yes. So there you have it. When it's the right time to make a career pivot, if you liked what you heard today, you can like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about us and our programming, you can visit us at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.